Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Game Junkie Show, episode 9. And today we're going to do a really cool deep dive into a game called Rising Hell. Now, I am here with Chris Wynn from Tahoe Games and Sarah from Toge Productions. And these individuals are responsible for making this game, which is actually getting a lot of acclaim. I have a lot of friends who really love this game. From what I understand, this is a roguelike vertical platformer, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool.
That's correct.
So why don't you guys kind of take a little bit of time, so for everybody who's watching and listening who doesn't know what to expect from this game, why don't you guys take a little bit of time to just kind of tell the folks what's the game like? What kind of game is it?
Okay, maybe I can answer this. Rising Hell is actually a vertical platformer roguelike. So the initial game was actually made in 2016. At that time, we really amazed by Dawnwell. Maybe if people know.
Yeah, Downwell.
So Dawnwell, yes, it's a vertical platformer too. But we want to make a different take on Dawnwell, so we reverse the mechanic. If Dawnwell going from the top to bottom, we rise from
bottom to the
from the
top.
bottom to the top. Yeah, that's it. And then I'm finding the matching theme, the suitable theme for this game. And what comes up in my mind is about a person who try to rise from pit of hell. That's when Rising Hell was made at the first time. And then to pump up the adrenaline for the players, which add some heavy metal music as the background. It's inspired by Doom and Devil May Cry. They have broken music, and that's actually cool for us.
Very cool. Yeah, it looked like it did have kind of a gothic, heavy metal feel. So, are there any like bands or any like movies or what kind of things inspired you artistically when you created Rising Hell?
As for the art style, I'm inspired by classic like Castlevania and Metroid, something like Metroid, and then Doom. Also, our music composer have told me that the inspiration for him to make the heavy metal music, the gothic metal and melodic metal is from Castlevania, and then what can we say, aggressive music. He takes it from Doom. So it's a mix from Doom and Castlevania for the music.
That actually makes sense. Looking at a bit of gameplay, it did make me feel a little bit. It almost made me feel like it did have that Castlevania Doom, almost a little bit to me too. A little bit like I got a Ninja Gaiden feel. If you ever played that, like an old school vibe. How many people are on the team that brought this game together?
Okay, so our studio actually have 5 to 6 people, but in Rising Hell is mainly made by 3. One programmer, he is Robertus, and then one artist, it's me, and then one music composer and sound designer. His name is Budi. Yes.
Only 3 people. Yes. That's really
only
impressive.
3 people. Yes.
How long did it take you guys to make this?
Like I said before, we start to make it in the late 2016, but we have to hold the project for various reasons, and then we continue the development in February 2017. That's before we made Toge. For the first time, we actually target the game to release on mobile platform. But after we made Toge, we considered to release the game on PC platform first. We also changed the gameplay. So at first, the gameplay of Rising Hell is actually a shooter game. Like Dawnwell, we shoot uh, to the bottom, and then the enemy will come from the top. We see it as a design flaw. It doesn't make sense why we shoot to the bottom when the enemy came from the top. So we changed the gameplay to be hack and slash. The protagonist, the heroes, become a melee fighter, and then in 2018 we changed the engine. So Rising Hell is actually made in Construct 2, Construct 2 engine, and then we changed it to Unity, so the game will be able to release on other platforms, on console platforms.
Yeah.
That's why we extend the timeline, and it's in 2019 we released it as early access and on Steam.
On Steam, yeah.
So then tell me, Sarah, when Tahoe Games, right, met you guys at Toge Productions, what like how were you involved with the game design, and how did that like change the relationship in the game?
Yeah. So when we first met Tahoe Games, when they were working on Rising Hell, we actually got hooked by, of course, Christian art was really good. Like it was very detailed, and we feel like this game has potentials, and that's when us Toge Productions jumped into the project, and we as publishers, we not only we help with marketing, but we also help them with the game design and testing, and like giving consultation basically about like probably this mechanic would go well, or probably this is what like the audience would like to play or stuff. That's how Toge Productions helped Tahoe to develop Rising Hell.
Oh, that's awesome. How many team members do you guys have at Toge Productions that are helping independent developers do this?
I think for the game mechanic, there was right now there were two, so like two product managers, and from marketing side, there's like around like 3 or 4.
That's
So
so
yeah.
impressive when you look at indie games, right? Like look at what you guys are doing collaboratively. There's so few people involved that do so much talent and so much creativity. Whereas the AAA space, you've got hundreds and hundreds of people with hundreds of millions of dollars of budgets, and then you have a game like this that people really, really love, that's made with such a small group of people. I understand that Rising Hell has won or is potentially in contention to win several awards. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we were nominated for like several awards before. I don't remember. Probably Crispin, you remember?
For the first time, we got nominated in the Best International Game in Beat Summit Kyoto in 2018, and then we selected as a chosen developer on Busan Indie Connect Festival on Korea.
In Korea, yeah.
The funny thing is, Rising Hell is actually an action game, but the most award we got nominated is from the music and audio. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, we actually got like a couple awards for the audio.
That's awesome. Well, that's a huge deal. I mean, original soundtracks, right, are massive. Who now, Chris? When you said on your team you have the composer, the individual that does the music.
Yes. We have one music composer, yes.
One person that's getting critical acclaim for the metal music inside this game.
Yes.
Oh, actually, I have like one more fun fact about.
Go on.
Here.
He cannot play music instrument at all. Right, Crispin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he can play any music instrument.
Yeah. So basically, what he did with Rising Hell is that he used Fruity Loop. Was it Fruity Loop?
Fruity Loop, yes.
Right?
Fruity Loops.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And then he explained to me that yeah, I have no knowledge on music like at all. So what I do is like I just press C, like, oh, it's do. Okay, what goes like what will fit the next melody for do? Oh, probably this, probably that. So basically, he just uses his instinct, which for him that I'm not really a good music composer because I just use my instinct, and I was like, no, that's actually like you're so talented. Like how could you do that without having no knowledge in music at all? But then. Well, right now he won like a couple awards on audio, so I think that's like really awesome for me.
That's incredible. So he doesn't read music or play instruments.
Yep.
He just so he's really it's kind of I mean I can't say a lot of musical DJs use Fruity Loops. I've used that before. A lot of DJs are in fact musicians though. A lot of them will play piano and guitar, so it's really neat to see somebody have kind of that mindset of putting the music
Mm.
together that doesn't play. That's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe he also learned some music game theory from YouTube. What we mean is he doesn't have any academic source for his
Mm.
music talent.
Yep.
He actually learned it himself from YouTube and other tutorial video like that.
I absolutely love that. This last week, I met with a gentleman in the Philippines who's a human rights lawyer and is
Okay,
making
yeah.
his own video game by himself, and he learned how to do all that stuff. YouTube videos help teach him how to give.
Wow.
I just think that's so fantastic about the indie space. Tell me more about your skills and background, Chriswin, as an artist, because the game is really freaking cool looking. By the way, it's beautiful, but it's also kind of badass in a way. So tell me about like what inspired you to create all that artistically.
Okay, so actually I've been in game dev industry from 2013. That's my first time when I jumped to the game industry. So I actually start to draw pixel art in 2014. So it's 2 years from the from the start of me learning the pixel art, and 2 years later I made Rising Hell. The inspiration from Rising Hell is actually from classic games like I said before, like Castlevania, Metroid, and then some like what's it, Dead Cells
Oh
maybe.
yeah.
Are you a
That's
fan at
what is.
all of like comics or superhero? Because there's something about
Oh,
the art that gives me like this. I don't know. I get some kind of vibe like a superhero comic book vibe.
yeah. Oh, so actually, the initial design of Arok is just a dude in what we call it.
Oh
Sarah,
yeah.
can you help
What's
me? What is it?
uh, actually
Kelma?
I have no idea what I have no idea what that thing is. But basically he
Skirt.
was
Okay, okay.
like
We
shirtless, like
can we just
topless
call it skirt or
skirt.
whatever is that?
Yeah, some
Yeah.
some some kind of
Skirt,
skirt. Yeah.
skirt. Yeah, skirt.
Okay.
It's what do you call? Gak pakai baju?
Oh yeah,
Nude.
shirtless.
Shirtless. Oh yeah, shirtless. It's actually just, it's actually just a plain shirtless muscular guy with a skirt. After the early access release, we actually get feedbacks from players. The character design is too plain and kinda kinda boring to see, kinda
Oh yeah,
boring to watch.
kind of boring.
Uh,
Yeah.
so we decide to redesign his appearance. What inspired me from his design now is from metal band players with the face paint. Actually, a lot of people call him looks like Lobo from DC Comics.
I can see that.
Lobo from
Oh.
DC Comics, yes. But ex- before people calling that, I actually search on how metal band players look like death metal players, and then I mix match it for the design of Arok. and his skirt now is inspired from the Colosseum fighter.
Oh, Colosseum.
So
Yeah.
I want to, yes, I want to make him looks like a fighter. Apa ya istilahnya, terbuang.
What, abandoned?
Gitu kayak, kayak orang yang dibuang di arena, jadi kayak gitu, kayak apa istilahnya ya.
Ah,
Makanya kesannya kayak Colosseum fighter gitu.
okay, okay. So basically, like a hero who got lost from a battle in a
Yeah.
Colosseum arena, something like that.
Would,
Actually, if I can add, so Arok is inspired by Indonesian, like, is it
Historical
mythology?
figure.
Yeah, historical figure. Oh
More
yeah,
like historical
Ken
figure.
Arok, yeah, right, yeah.
Ken Arok.
So there was a character from like our like Indonesian history. So we were inspired by that characters of Arok, and we even used like similar backstory, I think, for Arok in the
Yes.
game as well. Yeah, because in the game, like the reason that Arok got into hell is because he killed
He,
his
he
king.
killed his own king, yes. So in Indonesian history, we have a king named Ken Arok from Java. The legend say that he is so ambitious, so he killed his own king to take the throne. So I made the backstory from Arok is very similar to him. Arok in this game is being sent to hell, like Sarah said, after he killed his own king, and then he's going taken by the Lord of Hell. So his motivation in hell is actually to find the figure who is the man who is responsible for him
Taking him
being
to
thrown
hell.
to hell. Yes.
How
And-
cool! I didn't know that was based on a historical figure. I think that makes it really more authentic, and that because some friends of mine were describing to me how they felt about the story, and I don't think they know this part, and that must be why it feels narratively it feels good to them. And then the way you designed it, like a Colosseum fighter, because he's fighting his way out of hell. That's really
Yes.
brilliant. I really, really love that.
Thank you.
So how did Tahoe Games come together? Like, how did the three of you kind of meet for this project to make this happen?
Okay, so actually Tahoe Games was founded by Robertus in 2016, early 2016. But I joined Tahoe in June of 2016, if I recall. So we came from the same town. So okay, when I said before I started my game dev industry in 2013, it was on a capital city in East Java named Surabaya. I joined an indie studio there named Elven Games. And then 2015, I met Robertus in local game jam event. On the event, I see him as a great
Potential
programmer.
partner?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
great programmer and potential partner because we are on the same team on the game jam. Like he's an awesome guy. Apa ya istilahnya kayak aku minta bikin gini dia oke, tak bikin gitu. Istilahnya apa ya?
Okay. So basically Robertus can do whatever like Christian asks. For example, like Christian want, hey, can you make something like this? And then Robertus was like, okay, let me handle that. I can do it. So
Yeah,
Christian
that's it.
felt like Robertus is a very, someone you can depend on. Like, oh, I know this guy would make a great like team
Partner, yeah.
partner like with me. Yeah.
Awesome. So with only 3 people, how does that work from a project management perspective? Because I know managing projects like this can be really tough. I mean, how do you? I don't think just having 3 people means it's magically easier either. So how do the 3 of you kind of manage the dynamic? And then how does it work with Toge Productions, right? Because Sarah's team has to oversee. So kind of how does that work?
The funny thing is we don't actually have like apa ya? Kayak
Project
to-do list, the project management. We don't like. We actually just make games every day. no holiday,
Yeah, I think
Every day is
actually
making
like
games.
yeah, actually I think Toge Productions kind of help Tahu also for the project
Oh
management
yeah,
because yeah
we have
so
meeting.
that they can also like focus themselves on developing the
Yes.
game. So we kind of help with the like keeping up with the timeline and like listing down that, oh, have you done this, have you done that. So
Oh yeah,
we help on that side, and they can
because
just
we have
focus on the development. Hmm?
like apa, weekly meetings, weekly
As-
meetings to talk about the progress.
Oh, weekly meetings. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we and
pu-
Toge have.
so a publisher doesn't just write help put the games on the platform. A publisher is also there to play a much bigger role. So, a publisher helps those indie developers market the project, manage the project. They help provide insight and like data and research. So it's is that right, Sarah? That it's much
I-
bigger than just the publishing portion.
Yep. I think not all publishers do what Toge Productions do, because here in Indonesia we don't really have like there's not many studio that could actually like go worldwide, already have the experience. And Toge Productions, we've been in the industry for 12 years now, so we have like lots of experience on how we market our game, how we usually handle like our projects. So the reason that we could help Chris Win and his team is because we also have the experience, and we know how hard it is for like small team to actually manage their project and develop their game at the same time. So that's why us Toge Productions, we felt like we need to help this small team with with a goal, so that in the future, probably like Tahoe Games, when they got bigger, they could handle the managing themselves. And
Okay.
because this is like their first big game, I think, Rising
Yeah, this is
Hell,
our
right?
first game. This is our
Yeah,
debut, or
the
debut
debut,
debut.
Wow.
the
This is
debut
our
game of
debut.
Tahoe Games.
A,
So
a
yes,
debut game already winning awards and up for
I
several
know,
big
right?
awards. That's awesome. So then
Thank
I
you
know
very
that
much.
when we think, at least when we think console gaming, because I game a lot on console, and if you look at a lot of the development companies and the traction of console sales, it is a little bit isolated, right? You have a lot of
Mhm.
Western sales that primarily occur in the U.S. More of the European sales are a little northern, the Great Britain area, and a lot of the Asian sales traditionally tend to be Japan. Is that very different in the PC mobile world, or is that still geographically where a
Oh,
lot of the
I think it's kind of similar, like between PC and consoles. And also, I think for Rising Hell, actually we got more sales on the console side, because the game is really fit for consoles. And actually that is also the reason why we ask Tahoe Games to port the game from Construct to Unity, so that we can actually port the game to Switch and Xbox and PS4. And yeah, I think the reason we ported is because when we brought it to Japan, was it Japan to Kyoto,
Yes,
Crispin? Oh
in
yeah,
Bit Summit.
oh yeah, that's right. So when we brought it to Bit Summit in Kyoto, Japan, like one of the guys from Nintendo Japan, they played the demo of Rising Hell, and they said that I want this on Nintendo Switch. So yeah, and we also got like lots of good feedbacks, I think, from the Japanese audience, and we were like, okay, let's port it to Switch. That's why it took us like another 2 years to kind of redo the whole coding and
Yeah.
programming. Yeah,
On the time, Robertus actually have no experience with Unity, so
it was his first time master, right?
not only he has to start from from zero, from scratch, he also have to learn the
Yeah, from zero
Unity
as
engine. Yeah,
well.
wow. How remarkable. So let me ask you this. If you're, because these are things we don't really think about, right? So in Indonesia, which is smaller as far as the gaming space goes, does
Mhm.
that mean that you had to go to Nintendo, you had to go to Microsoft, you kind of have to pitch the game and they give you the okay to put it on that console, or do you have to kind of go and do market? What is the dynamic like for you guys in Indonesia, being a smaller gaming market? How do you go out and get those bigger gaming markets? Is it harder for you to do that, or like what's that dynamic like?
Uh, um, I think I can answer that. So for us here in Indonesia, I would say that it is pretty hard for us, especially with, like Indonesia is kind of a developing country, and even for getting dev kit, it's very hard for us. One is like we got we got troubles with the government because one time we want to get a Nintendo Switch dev kit, which is for work, right? And our dev kit was held by the custom, and they said that it is a toy, and we have to pay the what is it, the tax and everything, and they didn't give it to us. They didn't give it to us. So yeah, that's just how, that's like one of the obstacles for us like indie developers here in Indonesia. And another thing is that um the privilege of living in Japan or probably in the US or countries in the Europe, it is easier for them to, reach, yeah, like what you said, like reach the people from Nintendo, reach from people from the PlayStation or Microsoft, which, it's also like a shortcut for them to like, oh, I want our game to be on PlayStation. Can you do that? Like it's easier for them basically to get connection, which for us here in Indonesia, it's really hard for us to, to get to their country to actually like make relationship with them, which I really love. Because we have to like, what is it? Sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm kind of happy right now because all the games go online, all the events go online. Like it's easier for me, especially for us in Indonesia, to connect with people from from the US, from the Europe, because before we have to like go to the actual event to have business meeting with them to actually like meet them.
Wow. So
So
there's a
yeah.
lot of cost there. So before I ask my next question, the thing that's clear is the best way to support indie developers: buy their games, give them a chance,
Exactly.
play them, because this, especially when we're dealing with indie developers outside of kind of the main territories of gaming, there's a lot more cost challenges. So how did you, I mean, obviously the dev kits are for business. It's obviously for business, but I do deal with exports. I have a day job, and
Oh.
I do deal with exporting to different places, Malaysia and Singapore and all over Asia. So I do kind of understand a little bit of those dynamics. How did you eventually get around these issues of having issues getting the dev kit in?
So for the like console porting, in the end we have to collaborate with other publishers. So we have like now co-publishers for Rising Hell, which is Chorus Worldwide. So they help us with the porting to consoles, and we handle the PC publishings. And lately, thankfully, I think the government talked with Nintendo, so we now have access to Nintendo Dev Kit. Yay!
Okay. How
But
long
Finally.
did that take?
uh years. I think like
Wow.
yeah. So yeah, the reason that we now have access to DevKit and like the government themselves they talk with the guy from Nintendo is because the problem that us Toge Production had when we have to bring the DevKit from overseas to Indonesia, and we kind of make it viral on social media. So I think that's how we got the attention, and like now they are more aware that indie develop what is it indie game developers are here in Indonesia, and we need support. And yeah, I hope like slowly they will also like give more support to us.
So it sounds too like in the gaming community, on
Hmm.
top of supporting the indie developers by, if it looks like it's something that you want to play, buy the game, because indie games are, you don't ever go out and you don't always pay $60 or $70 for an indie game, right? They're
Yeah,
great
yeah.
values. I love buying indie games because they're such a good deal. Talk about your indie game. Share your indie game, share the publishers and the developers, and have them on your show, and make sure that you share information on that game, because I don't think a lot of people are aware that you guys had a hard road getting this out. That's costly. I mean, that put the development back quite a bit. So do you guys have any plans for like the next title, or are you still kind of polishing and building on Rising Hell?
Um, so yeah, we here in Tahoe is actually designing new games, and Toge also has a program named Toge Funding Initiative, Sarah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and we will pitch our game on the program too on the next
Oh
time.
really?
Yeah,
I just knew about
just
that.
wait, just wait, you guys.
Yeah, but I think for Rising Hell, we still have like a little updates
Yeah,
in the
updates.
future.
Yeah.
Which please play the game and look forward to the small updates that we have prepared. And yes, and while they working on the updates, Tahu will also do a new project. So
That's exciting. And I will make sure for everybody watching, there will be a pinned post below that's in the comments. You'll be able to connect to Tahoe Games and Toge Productions on their Twitter page, and you'll also be able to go to the link where you can access Rising Hell on all the platforms if you want to
awesome.
check the game
Yeah.
out. My buddy Bogey, who's pretty popular dude among my friend circle. A lot of people know him. He's been on the show a few times. Absolutely loves the game. He said it's very well made. He said it performs well. The biggest thing that stood out for me is he said, I can't believe how much value I got for the price.
Oh,
That's awesome to hear. So if anybody's on the fence about getting this game, hearing somebody say that the game is a great value is really awesome. So as we kind of wrap it up, what do you have any advice for somebody going in? Maybe Chris, when they haven't played a lot of games like this, or maybe they're not sure if they like roguelike games. So like any kind of advice for somebody going in the game?
for those who like want to play Rising Hell, like do you have any or just say any words to people who want to play Rising Hell or promote your game, Kristen?
Yeah. Anything you want to say?
Anything you want to say?
Yes, it's kind of hard to me because I'm not a marketing guy. What can I say?
Talk about what it feels like when you first played the game. Like, what does it feel like? So, as somebody who liked like older games, you were inspired by older kind of Nintendo games.
Oh yeah.
What did it feel like for you? Like, what did it feel like for you when you played it?
Konteksnya ngasih feeling apa gitu ya?
Oh ya, sorry. Ya, iya.
Konteksnya
Basically kalau pertama kali main, feeling apa yang orang-orang bakal rasain, makanya mainin gitu biar bisa merasakan feeling itu.
Oh, karena agak panjang, bisa tolong bantu translate ya?
Okay, because it's gonna be long, so I'll be of help.
Sorry.
From Indonesian.
No problem.
Okay, go for it, Kristen.
Karena gamenya emang penuh dengan violence dan cadas gitu ya, jadi kayak aku pengen ngasih feeling ke orang bahwa di kondisi yang helpless sekalipun mereka harus ada power untuk lepas dari kekangan, kan intinya kan lepas dari neraka.
Oke.
Terus temanya dibikin cadas supaya emang orang ngerasa hebat dalam game ini. Orang yang mungkin setelah mainan game ini mereka merasa menjadi orang yang lebih hebat dalam game ini karena emang actionnya terasa lebih feel actionnya kan terasa kayak cadas banget gitu. Ditambah musiknya juga, jadi kayak emang intinya kalau kamu ingin merasa jadi lebih
hebat, kuat, powerful.
Dan pesan dari gamenya yang gitu sih, kayak meski kamu di kondisi yang helpless, kamu harus berjuang sampai selesai.
Okay.
Tolong bantu.
Okay. I'm gonna translate, and this is actually very good. So Kristen said, like when you play the game, you will feel all the like action, adrenaline rush, like boom, boom, boom. It's like very, full of action basically. So we want people to feel that, but the what is it? The main purpose of the game is, as a as the character in Rising Hell, you were like locked. You were like what is it, jailed inside of
Down in hell.
drowned in hell basically, and you have to like fight your way out of it. And that's what Crispin won. Like show all the action to make you feel powerful. So basically, Chris wants to tell that you're powerful, you're great, you can get out of there. So that's the what is it, the message that Crispin wanna tell to people. So basically, like go for it. You're powerful. You can do it. Like just bam, bam, bam. You can get out of there.
So the,
Is that correct, Crispin?
Yes.
Yeah, even when you're in a very most helpless situation, you can still get up from there. So keep going up, never go back down, just rise.
which I really like, because if you think about it, right, if you think about the journey, right, you're cast into hell, which would feel like, I mean, insurmountable. Like, I got cast into hell. I'm stuck. And a roguelike is going to make that challenge hard. I mean, it's going to make that feel more like a challenge, but you're immediately a badass, which is kind of what it would take. So it sounds like you really created all of the elements and the design and the story to be really cohesive. So it sounds like it's really well thought out, which that sounds really awesome. I mean, Sarah, you're on kind of a different side of the game. You're not necessarily on the development side. So, what are your takes on the game, or what do you have to say for anybody out there who's on the fence and maybe interested in playing the game?
Oh, now I know what Crispin felt like. I got like, what should I say? But yeah, basically, even though I'm not in development team, but I know how much Crispin and his team work on this game. And just like what Crispin explained before, I think Crispin himself, he actually like he did it basically. Like he got it from the hell of Rising Hell development. Yeah,
Development
and
hell.
and I feel like I can see his passion in this game, which I believe probably like you too can feel like the passion that he put, all the efforts that he put in this game. And I want people to also feel that, like from the music, from the gameplay, from the art. So yeah, please buy Crispin's game. It's really
Yeah,
good. You'll love it.
it's I don't play a lot of roguelikes. I am not the most patient person, so I will get very mad when I keep redoing stuff. But I did spend a little time kind of interacting with people who played it, and I found some people on YouTube and kind of asked them what they thought of it to get a little bit of an idea. And some people said that when you finally kind of get out of the hell, the reward is there. It feels good, and where the story takes you feels good. So it really sounds like it's a very well-rounded, thought-out game. So hopefully some folks will definitely give it a try. That would be super awesome. You guys were fantastic guests. Thanks for coming on and spending some time after dinner with me here. I haven't been up that long. It's early morning here, so.
Thank you
very much.
for the opportunity. Me and Crispin, we are like very excited about this, and we are very happy now. And
Awesome.
yeah, thank you so much for waking up early for us here in Indonesia. We appreciate that a lot.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on. And again, everybody, if you will look down below in the pin post, you'll be able to access the link for where you can get Rising Hell on all the platforms that you may want to play on. And you'll also be able to follow Tahoe Games and Toge Productions so you can stay up to date on Rising Hell updates and possibly some new IP that's in the works. So thanks for watching episode 9. Thanks again to Sarah and Krishwan. You guys were awesome guests.
Thank you. You too. Oh, you're awesome. Thank you so much.